So if you just flipped your flat phone and switched to the flip side, you're in the right place because I've got 25 tips and tricks, first things for you to do to get the most out of your Galaxy Z Flip 5 on day one. So this is pretty much the first thing I do on all Android phones, and that is organize the app tray. So if you swipe up on any part of the screen, you'll get your app drawer here. And what you'll notice is it's in a complete mess. There's no way for you to easily find things here unless you search at the top. Here's what I recommend you do. Straight away is hit the three dots in the top right corner, go to sort and change this to alphabetical order. Now whenever you bring up the app drawer, you'll be able to find things because they're organized alphabetically. It is common sense, but a lot of people will forget to do this and it will cost them time in the future, and nobody can give you your time back. So thank me later. And just to make this video a little bit easier for you to follow, swipe up, find your settings here and drag that onto the home screen temporarily just for this video. Okay, so if you go into settings, scroll down to advanced features, go to side button. Now by default, this will be a double press on the side key, the power key, to open the camera. And if you push and hold that power key, it will wake Bixby. Now, Bixby's getting better, but it ain't fantastic in my opinion. So what you can do here is you can actually remap this button and what it does. So here is what I do. I change the double press to open app. And here I change this to wallet, the Google wallet, because I use this a lot for my loyalty cards and my bank cards and things like that. So when I double push the side key now, I can quickly bring up my wallet and pay with NFC. And for the push and hold, I'm just old school and I prefer push and hold to actually operate the power menu. So when I push the power button, the power menu pops up and I can turn the phone off, restart it, or do an SOS call if I need to. And what I recommend you do is try this out, see if you prefer it. If you don't, when you push the power key, you can always go back to the side key settings quickly here and switch it back to something else if you want to. Okay, so tip number 3. So by default, the phone will be rocking the Samsung Galaxy keyboard, and also you have the option to use the Microsoft SwiftKey keyboard. But my personal preference, and maybe yours, especially if you're coming from another Android phone, is going to be the Google Gboard, and it's not installed on the device by default. So what you want to do is go to the Play Store, type in Gboard, install the Gboard, and now when you go back to your app, whatever it is you're typing in the bottom right corner here, you'll see a little keyboard icon. If you tap that, you can switch the keyboard to Gboard. And this is very handy, especially for swipe typing and things like this. It just works really well here on the Gboard. And once again, I recommend you try it out, see if you prefer it. If you don't worry, you've got the little icon in the bottom right corner here, which you can switch back to the Samsung keyboard if you prefer, or the Microsoft keyboard. Now, something that I've noticed about the Z Flip 5 on day one is the fingerprint reader is good, but when you register your fingerprint the first time, you do it with the fingerprint reader this way around. So when you register it, it works perfectly fine when the phone is open. When you close the phone, the fingerprint reader is actually upside down and sometimes it misses. So my best advice for you, if you want to avoid this happening on day one, is not only register your thumbprint this way around, but also register it this way around as well. And you have to do this on the open screen. Go to settings, security and privacy, biometrics, and here go to add fingerprint. And this is the tricky part. You just got to register your thumb upside down. And once you've done this, your phone now has double the chance of unlocking the first time without missing. And this could save you time. And once again, thank me later. So one of the greatest upgrades that Samsung have made to the Flip is, of course, the outer display. It's bigger now. You can do way more things on it. And the first thing I think you're going to want to do is customize the wallpaper and the information shown on the wallpaper. And it's really easy to do. All you need to do is hold your finger down on the wallpaper and you'll be able to just scroll through the pre-installed wallpapers that are already on the device. Now, if you want to add a new wallpaper, you'll see here it says flip open the device for more. And this brings you very quickly to the cover screen setting without having to look for it within the settings menu. And then once you're in this page, you can go to add new, and you can use photos from your own gallery. For example, if I want to use one of mine, let's say this one, just go like this. Now that will add that to the cover screen display. And you'll see there's a bunch of other ones you can choose from, and your device stores these, and you can manage the ones that are stored here and actually even delete some of them if you don't want them on your device anymore. And then when you do add a new wallpaper, let's say I go for the one that I chose before, this one, you have the option now to customize the type of clock here. So we can change the style of the clock, and there's a bunch of different ones we can choose. You can change the font of the clock as well. So for this particular wallpaper that I've got here, I'm going to go with this one. And you can change the color of the text. And also on the wallpaper screen, you can actually put a frame around it if you want to, which is pretty cool. This probably works better with photographs and things like this, but you get the idea. And we can change the color of that frame. And if we tap on it again, you'll see in the top right corner, there's a little section that says battery. We can show the battery icon so we know how much power we've got left on the phone on the cover screen. And then if we tap it one more time, see where the little camera icon is here? That's a shortcut to your camera app, which is very handy to be honest. But if you want to, you can remap that to anything you see here. I do like having the camera app there, so I'm going to leave that as it is. Okay, so let's continue customizing that cover screen. So if you hold your finger down, we can go back to the cover screen settings through here. So we just get to this page and then open the phone, and it will automatically go to the page we need to be on. And just beneath the wallpaper, you'll see the widgets. So right now, the blue ticks are the ones that are already enabled on the device. We can enable whichever ones we want and disable whichever ones we don't want. And we can reorder them by dragging them around. On the cover screen, if we swipe right, here are all of our widgets, all of the ones that we've enabled. And one of the cool things you can do now on the cover screen is if you pinch, you can see all of your widgets all at once. So don't worry about adding lots of widgets. What I recommend you do is add all of the ones you think might be useful and then gradually get rid of them if they're no longer needed. So to get rid of them, you can literally hold your finger down and hit the minus in the top right corner there, and that will delete that widget from the cover screen. And an easier way to add widgets is to swipe all the way to the right, keep going until you hit the end, hold your finger down, swipe again once to the end, and you'll see this plus button here. If you tap that, you can add other widgets that aren't already added to your cover screen. And a couple of little gestures to remember is a swipe up and hold, just like you would on the big screen, will take you back to your home screen. And if you swipe left, that will take you to your notification pane, where you will have all of your notifications listed out here. And again, just remember, swipe up to get back to your home screen. Okay, so let's get into some more advanced stuff that you can do on the cover screen. If you go to your settings, scroll down, advanced features, and here go to labs. Now, I've already got this enabled, but it won't be enabled on your phone if it's brand new. So enable this, apps allowed on cover screen. Once you enable this, you can choose what apps are allowed on the cover screen. Right now, I've just enabled YouTube. By default, you can't open YouTube on the cover screen, but check this out. You might have spotted this when I was showing you guys the cover screen widgets. If you swipe all the way across, you'll see I have a widget that just says YouTube. And if I open this, it actually opens YouTube on the cover screen. So you can actually watch videos here. Yes, it's a smaller display, but sometimes you don't need to see things on the big screen. And this is fantastic in my opinion. I really like the fact that you can now do this. And you can also do it with Google Maps as well. So that could be useful if you're walking down the street and you're just following the map to your destination. Okay, so now hopefully you've customized your cover screen. Now it's time to customize the inner screen. And it's very easy to do. Just pinch anywhere on the home screen and you get these quick settings at the bottom. To change the wallpaper, just hit wallpaper there, go to change wallpaper. You can of course choose wallpaper from your photo gallery. For example, this one, hit done. Now you can choose different wallpapers for the lock screen and the home screen. I'm going to keep them the same for the sake of this video. Now what I want to show you here is how to customize the lock screen. So just like before on the cover screen, we can change the style of clock to pretty much anything we want. We can also change the font of that clock as well if we want to. We can change the color as well, so it stands out against the background. And something else we can do here is just underneath the clock, we can change the details. We can have icon only or details like this where it shows a bit more. And I like the icons. It doesn't give too much information away, but you know you've got notifications. Now at the bottom here where it says contact information, what you can do is leave a backup phone number. So if you lose your phone and someone opens the phone, they can see this message. Also on the bottom left and bottom right corners, you have shortcuts. By default, the camera is the shortcut here. You can set it to pretty much anything you want it to be. So do think about this, spend some time, set it up right on day one. And here at the bottom, you see filter. You can actually change the filter on the wallpaper you're using. For example, this one's quite bright. We can adjust the color, so slightly more muted. And we could even go black and white, which looks pretty cool, to be honest. Now, as you can see right now, I've got 5 icons per row. By default, the phone is not on this. And the reason I have it like this is that I can have more things in one place. I don't have to swipe left and right as much. And the bigger screen is big enough to accommodate 5 apps in a row, in my opinion. So your phone brand new will probably have 4 apps per row. To change this, literally just pinch the home screen, go to settings here, and you'll see at the top, you have home screen grid and app screen grid. Play around with it, see how you like it, but I always go for the maximum grid space so I can add as much as possible on one place. So like I said before, I don't have to swipe around as much. Okay, so this phone has pretty good speakers in it, but you can actually make the speakers sound better. And if you can, then you should. And this is how you do it. Go to settings, sound and vibration, sound quality and effects. And you'll notice here, Dolby Atmos is switched off and Dolby Atmos for gaming is switched off as well. And in my opinion, when this is on, the phone sounds way better. So I always just leave this on full time. I do recommend you play around with this, do a little test for yourself, play some music or play some video through your phone and then switch this on and see how it sounds to you. And if you're not sure about this, don't worry, stick with the video. I'm going to show you a quick way how you can toggle this on and off as and when you want to without having to come back to this setting here. Okay, so if your hearing isn't quite as good as it used to be, maybe you partied a bit too much, or maybe you played a bit too many games with headphones on full blast. Well, there is a tool here that can help you hear things a little more clearly, and it kind of tailors the audio experience to your ears specifically. So check this out, go to settings, go to sound and vibration, go to sound quality and effects, and at the bottom here you'll see adapt sound. So this is really quite specific to headphone use with the phone. You can choose your age group here and do a hearing test. This will figure out what frequencies you can hear well and which ones you can't, and it will boost those frequencies that you can't hear so well so that you can actually figure out what's going on when you're on phone calls and things like that, and you're not going to miss words and more quiet sounds. And a little disclaimer here, I do recommend that if you're going to do this, you go to this setting here first and change it to calls only, because if you have it for media and calls, when you're listening to music or if you've got a headphones app with EQs on it and things like that, it's going to mess up all those EQs and things. But if the media you tend to watch or listen to the most is mainly people talking, then you could do media and calls, but my advice is do calls only. Okay, so another cool feature that you get with Samsung devices is the edge panel. So you'll see it slightly up here when you swipe it out. This is the edge panel, and by default it just have some generic apps. What I recommend you do on day one is hit the pen at the bottom here, remove all of the apps that is added for you. Now what you want to do is choose the apps that you're going to use the most and drag those ones onto the edge panel. For example, let's say contacts, YouTube, X, and really spend some time and think about this. What are your most used 3 or 4 apps? And before you go and fill out all of these, check this out. Now, one of the great things about Android and having a tool display like this is split screening. And it's very easy to do here on the flip device. So open an app that you want to split screen. What you can now do is open the backgrounding and tap on the icon of that app, and you can open it in split screen view. Now you'll notice it's at the top part of the screen. Now let's say, for example, you like to listen to YouTube podcasts or something like this whilst driving, which is something I do a lot. I'm not watching the video, but I am listening to the podcast while driving. what we can do, we can set up an app pair like this. So I've got my maps here and YouTube there, and we can adjust the ratios of the two as well if you want. But see the three dots in the middle? If you tap those, you can flip them around. So we've got the navigation at the top. And if we tap them again, you see the little star there? If you hit that, you can actually add that app pair, a saved app pair, to the edge panel. So that saved it. Now it's right here. So whenever I jump in the car, I want to listen to a Joe Rogan podcast whilst driving, if I didn't have YouTube Premium, I could open this and that would keep the audio playing in the background whilst I'm navigating. And there's tons of other app pairs that I think could be very useful for you, but I'll let you figure those out on your own. Okay, so this next one's one of my favorite ones, and it is hidden within the menu system. So if you go to settings here, go to advanced features, go to labs. So this is experimental features, but this one is fantastic. So I just want to show you what it's like before and what it's like after. So let's say I open YouTube here and I flex the screen. You see it kind of pops into a two-part sort of view, but there's nothing new happening down here. It's just the same app. Now, if we go to the labs menu and enable flex mode panel, open YouTube, and when we flex the screen this time, you'll notice the little flex panel icon pops up in the bottom left corner. And now we have a bunch of new controls available. So we can go back 10 seconds, go forward 10 seconds, play, pause, fast forward. We can do this and open up extra apps on this screen. We can bring down our quick settings. We can screenshot whatever's on the top part of the screen. And this button here activates the mouse. So we actually have a mouse pointer, which we can use on the top part of the screen. And we can adjust the brightness, the volume, and go into the settings from here. So this mouse pointer, I think, could be particularly useful if you're working with spreadsheets and things like that. This truly is a great feature, and it's definitely something you should enable on day one. And just keep an eye out for the flex icon that pops up whenever you fold the screen. Okay, so going back to what I said about split screening and it being a great feature here on phones like this, you can actually improve split screening here on the Z Flip 5. Here's how to do it. Go to settings, advanced features, multi-window, and here at the bottom you'll see full screen in split screen view. So it pretty much shows you what it does here. Normally it will crop the top and bottom edges of the split screen, but you can opt to expand the top and bottom edges so that you get more on screen at one time if you enable this setting. So once again, if you can, you might as well, because you're going to be making better use of that screen real estate. So one of the important things not to neglect is your privacy. But just to make sure everything's safe and secure on day one, do this. Go to settings, security and privacy. And if you see an orange icon here like I do, then you definitely want to pay attention to that. Tapping this will take you automatically to the device protection menu. And you'll see within this device protection menu, we can turn on this McAfee feature. And essentially what this will do is scan every app that you install on the device just to make sure it's not dodgy. It does warn you that it will make app installations a little bit slower, but if there's some kind of hacker out there trying to install something on your device without you knowing, this will pick it up. So it is a good idea to switch this on. And here's another tip to help you improve your privacy and security on your device. Go to settings once again, go to security and privacy. This time, scroll down and go to this secure folder. So this is a great thing to activate on day one because it allows you to store private confidential files within the secure folder. It'll be locked away with a PIN number that only you know, and it's a different PIN number from the one you use on your phone. Also within the secure folder, you can have second instances of apps. So for example, if you have two accounts on a social media app, for example, you can have your main account on the home screen and then your hidden alter ego here within the secure folder. And it's incredibly easy to use, and it will walk you through step by step how it works. So one of the biggest problems with smartphones is all of the distractions, and I get so many, and there's nothing more annoying than my phone blowing up while I'm trying to film a video. And I'm sure in your life you probably have times where you don't want to be distracted. So I do recommend you set this up on day one. It will help you be less distracted, get more things done, and be more productive in the long run. So check this out. go to settings, go to modes and routines. And there are a bunch of templates here that you can set up straight away. For example, sleep or theater or driving. But I'm going to set up my own custom one for filming a video just to give you guys an example of how easy it is. Go to add mode. Give it a name. We can set a custom color. Let's go red for YouTube. Custom icon. Go with this little play button. Hit done. Now, when I turn this mode on, I need to say what I want it to do. So I don't want to be disturbed. I can, if I want to, allow specific people to contact me in emergency. So we can restrict app usage here. So if we enable this, we can specify which apps we want to restrict, and we can change settings. So something that really distracts me is even my phone lighting up and things like this. So I could set grayscale here. What I'm also doing whilst I'm filming videos is I'm looking at bullet points on my device. And when the device goes to sleep, I have to wake it up again. And that kind of slows me down. So what I can do here is I can go to display, screen timeout, and set it to 10 minutes. And that way, when I switch this mode on, it will automatically go into grayscale. It will change the timeout of the screen. It will mute all of the notifications. And I could even set a customized wallpaper for while I'm filming. Now that's done, if you hit the three dots in the top right corner, go to settings here, you can go to show modes and routines on the app screen. And now when you swipe up for your apps tray, you'll see the modes and routine here. And we can literally just drag this anywhere onto the home screen where it's easy to access. There are other ways to do this, and I'm about to show you one of them. The quick way to access your modes and routines from the home screen is to swipe down to your quick settings, swipe across, and you'll see modes and routines. Tap that and you'll see all of your set up modes and routines. Okay, so here's another privacy tip, and it's something I do recommend you do on day one. Go to settings, notifications, lock screen notifications, and here turn on hide content. So this means your detailed content won't be shown on the lock screen. You'll still get pop-up notifications. It just means that if someone's sitting next to you, or if your phone pops up with a notification when you're not next to it, random people can't read it. So if you don't want people reading your private messages and things like this, even when your phone is locked, I do recommend you turn this on straight away. Hide content on the lock screen. But if you don't want to do that, you can actually customize what content is shown by hitting the little settings menu here next to show content. You can switch off everything that you don't want it to show on the lock screen. And this could be better for some of you. So spend a bit of time, go through that list, sort it out. So like I said before, notifications can be very, very distracting, and you might not want to switch them off all the time because maybe you're waiting for something important to come through. But I'm assuming once in a while you just want a bit of peace and quiet. And here's a quick way to activate a notification snooze. Go to settings, go to notification, go to advanced settings, and here you'll see show snooze button. So now when you're getting bombarded with notifications and it's really driving you crazy, you can literally just hit the snooze button, which looks like this. So with the Z Flip 5, the battery cell is split in two, and because of that, it's a little bit smaller than a regular phone. But there is a way to optimize the battery life on this phone, and it's very easy to do, and it is switched off on day one. So do this. Go to your settings, battery and device care, scroll down to where it says auto optimization. Now what this will do is from time to time when you're not using your device is actually reboot the device and actually refresh everything that's going on in the background, and it will optimize your phone to start fresh with a clear mind when you want to use it. And this can also help you save battery in the long run as well. So I do recommend you switch this on day one. And don't worry, it's not just going to randomly shut down whilst you're using it. Now if we go back to that same settings menu, so back into settings, scroll all the way down, battery and device care, and here there's some more stuff you need to look at. If you tap where it says battery here, so you see right now it is learning my usage patterns, but what we want to do here is scroll down to where it says more battery settings, and then here where it says performance profile, this is something you need to know about because depending on how you use your phone, you can make the battery last a lot longer. So check this out, tap on performance profile. And if you consider yourself a light user, you're not really doing much gaming or using any heavy apps on your phone, you could set this to light, and this prioritizes the battery life. So think carefully about this and which one of these profiles best suits you. If you are willing to sacrifice the speed and performance a little bit, this is going to make a massive difference to your battery life. Now, this is kind of a double-barreled one because it's a quick way to access the performance mode, but also it's important to know how to customize your quick settings. So if you swipe down from the top, you get your quick settings here. If you hit the 3 dots in the top right corner, you can go to edit buttons. Now from here at the top, these are all the buttons that are not currently in the quick settings menu. And you'll see things like Dolby Atmos. So if you want to have a quick way to switch on and off Dolby Atmos, you could drag that down. And you'll notice there is a performance mode quick setting as well. So we can drag that down and we can move these around however we want. We can set them up in a custom way so that we have the most used ones on the first page. But now we've added performance mode, you can see right now it's activated and it's got a little leaf there, meaning it's on the light performance mode. And we can switch the light performance mode off when we need the extra power. So this could be a good one to set up on day one if you're worried about battery life. Okay, so here's a good tip for you if you usually have bad signal where you live. Check this out. I do this always on day one. Go to settings, go to connections, mobile networks, and this might be carrier dependent, but you should see this. Voice over LTE. If this is not enabled, enable this. What this means is your phone will use the data signal for voice calls wherever possible, which means you get better quality calls in general. So definitely turn this on day one if you can. Okay, so the next 2 tips are very powerful ones. So powerful, in fact, that I've made dedicated videos for each one of them. Check this out. Go to your Galaxy store. You will find it in your app drawer. It will be pre-installed on your Samsung Galaxy device. Within the Samsung Galaxy store, search for Camera Assistant. Install this app and run it. And what you now have is a bunch of advanced settings for your camera app. And I really haven't got into the camera much because I have made that dedicated advanced user guide for Samsung Galaxy cameras. What you want to look at here is this setting, quick tap shutter. So one of the complaints that people had about Samsung Galaxy devices in the past is the shutter seems to lag a little bit. What this does is it enables a faster shutter so that when your finger or thumb touches the screen, it reacts instantly. By default, it reacts once you lift your finger from the screen, which gives people the feeling that it's reacting slowly. So if you enable this, it will react just a little bit quicker, and there could be a fleeting moment where you want to snap a picture really quickly and the milliseconds really count. This could be the difference. So do switch on quick tap shutter. And there is some other really cool features here to play around with. I'm not going to go into depth for them right now. If you do want to check these out, make sure you check out that advanced video that I made. Now here's another app that I recommend you get on day one because it's really going to help you make your phone more your own. Once again, go to the Galaxy store. This time we're going to search for Good Lock. So download and install this. And this was actually designed with Samsung, and it allows you to redesign your Samsung Galaxy and get really granular with everything on the device. It's incredibly advanced. So advanced, in fact, that I did make that entire video about it. That thumbnail is on screen right now. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video and got some kind of value out of it. And if you did, I'd really appreciate a little thumbs up, maybe a subscribe, maybe a comment. It won't cost you a penny, but it means a lot to me. Appreciate you guys for watching this one. Check out those other guides. I think you'll enjoy them. And if you just subscribed, I'll see you in the next one. Don't be late.